Every one of us has strengths. Every one of us have weaknesses. And God knows exactly where they're at, and He knows how to help us. And what many of us may not even see right now. As we said, there are many enemies against us. But the enemy level is almost equal. Some of us may be saying, I'm going through worse than others. But the 20 things that this one's got may be just as bad as the 2 or 3 that you're going through to them, because we're different. We're different. And one thing that won't bother you may destroy somebody else. And we just don't understand that the enemy is all-out war from hell against this place. Against it, because he knows what we... And this sort of be another clarification to you that you are chosen. This ought to be another clarification, because look at all of the attacks that's coming against you. Look at all the things, that warfare that's going on around you. It ought to be another clarification that there's something going on. Why is the devil battling me so bad? I wonder what that is. It ought to be telling you that, I must be chosen. I must be chosen in what I do. I must be a chosen vessel from God. And as he said, a proud heart is an abomination before the Lord. When a person thinks that they're right in their own eyes, it's an abomination to the Lord. He don't like it. He wants us to come to the place of truth and start grabbing a hold of it and running with it. And he said, by mercy, verse 6, by mercy and truth, iniquity is purged, and by the fear of the Lord, men depart from evil. So by mercy and truth, the iniquity, the problems, the situations, these things are broken down and taken away from us. These things, an atonement that is provided for iniquity. A problem is destroyed when by the mercy of God and by truth. And that's where we said, look, right here's one more, this is one more good thing of truth. When we can truthfully become before the Lord and say that in my own eyes I think I'm right in some things. Show me, Lord. Those will eliminate, because let's go back to something we've taught. If the Lord allows things to show us some things about ourselves or to teach us some things, then if we learn what He's trying to teach us, will not that problem then be moved out of the way? If we've learned it? But some of these problems going around us, everything going on around us has purpose. And many of these things is to teach us that maybe we've got pride in our life. Maybe we got envy in our life. Maybe we got this in our life. But He's saying that by my mercy and by you learning truth, that iniquity is going to leave now. So if you want some of your problems to flee from you, then He's saying you better learn to be truthful to self. You better learn to look that in your own eyes you ain't as right as you think you are. And let me show you what you need. Let me show you these things. So see how iniquity can be destroyed because of God allowing it now? All right, they don't need that no more. They've learned that. Let's take them on. Let's take them deeper. And as we said, there'll be problems and warfare to the day we leave here. Not to be discouraged, but to know that we can win. And we need to start learning what God is talking to us about. And then he went on in verse 7 and said, when a man's ways please the Lord, He maketh even his enemies to be at peace with him. And we want to get to a pleasing place with the Lord. If you're at a pleasing place with the Lord, your enemies will be at peace with you. Is your enemies at peace with you? Here's evidence that you're not at a place of pleasing the Lord. Why? Because what he's talking about here. You have not been allowing truth to show you the places that you think is okay. May not be. And I'm not saying that all of us is terrible people. Please don't take it that way. I'm just saying that all of us got things to learn in our life to become more Christ-like and to become a better person that he wants us to be. All of us do. But it is a good thing that God is wanting to show us. That means he's still working on us. He still loves us. He still cares for us. He hasn't given up on us. And that should be a good thing to know these things and to know that He is still working on us and that we can get to a place to please the Lord and our enemies can be at peace with us. Verse 8, better is a little with righteousness than greater revenues without right. A man's heart deviseth his ways, but the Lord directeth his steps. As we know in our heart, in ways, our heart takes things that we hear. And we hear many voices. We said in 1 Corinthians 14, there are many voices in the world and none of them without significance. So the voices that we're hearing is Satan, our carnal mind, and God. And if we can learn to follow what God is saying and grab a hold of this, one of the easiest ways, especially when we're looking at self, is the easy route. When we grab a hold of something that's telling us, I need to be at church more, but Lord, I'm busy. There will be something simply that tells us, wait a minute, I ain't got that right. And it's something wrong there. Especially when it comes pleasing to the flesh, it ought to flag us. Now, some things God does want us to be pleased in those areas. But and it comes to the work of God, if it's something that's telling us, hey, you got a good reason not to do this, then it ought to be flagging us right off the bat. Something ought to be saying, wait a minute, wait just a minute. Something ain't right here. Let me double check what's going on here. If I got this going on. But see right here just alone what God has showed us. See right here just alone what He's trying to tell us. Right here just in this little proverb of the things that He's trying to show us. Anybody have anything on that before I go to one other scripture I want to share with you in this first part? Anyone, do you agree, disagree? You got anything you want to add? You think I'm wrong? You're welcome to tell me you're a moron. You don't know what you're talking about, etc. But I'm guilty. I'm guilty in looking at myself saying, I've done a pretty good job. I went and seen some shut-ins today. Am I? In my own eyes, I see that way.
I think we're all there.
Oh, yeah.
In my opinion, I am. I think, to be honest, we've all been honest with ourselves. I think we're all there.
And that's truth. That's truth. And I think you're right, Teresa. We all are that way.
Well, none of us ever going to do everything we can do. That's it. People, we're not going to do everything we should do. And if we say we are, then there's not. Because we miss it.
But what He's wanting us to do, Sandy, is start being truthful to self. Start humming ourselves down and start looking at areas that we don't think we don't think it's so bad. And we're trying to work on these areas and these things. But what He said is these iniquities, these problems that's going on around you, I'm trying to show you some problem in your life. And you're avoiding it because you think, well, I'm pretty good there. That can't be me.
We're trying to justify it.
And we're trying to avoid that. But He's saying, I've allowed that situation to come in your life to tell you something about yourself. And because you're avoiding it, that iniquity is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger until you finally wake up. And like we said, a lot of times it takes people to hit the bottom. Well, we don't want to have to get to the bottom, and we don't have to. We can start right now, leaving this place saying, wait a minute, I'm not so right in my own way. I'm not so right in so many things. And I need to start listening to what God's saying and find out where I'm really coming up short at. Find out where I'm really in that way. And you're right, we are. Because He said it, all men think that they're right in their own eyes. And you can even see that in argument. Lord, when you get into an argument, we're both right, ain't we? About what we're arguing about. Yeah. We're right. Oh, I know I'm right. How do you know you're right? I got the word. I don't, blah, blah, blah. It goes on and on and on. But every one of us need to learn that we're not so right as we think. Anyone else?